Everyone. Welcome to the Omri Hurwitz podcast show. Today, I'm truly honored to have leading investor Liron Rose on the show. It is his second time on the show, and today we're going to talk about what trends does Liron see in the tech investing industry. Liron, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Omri, for inviting me. Happy to be here.
So right now, during COVID, maybe later on, post-COVID, what investing trends are we seeing?
Right. So I'm going to talk about VCs and the recent trends here in VC and hedge fund investing, private equity here in Israel. What we see and we're just coming out of the second lockdown here. We had a very tough lockdown in recent months for handling the second wave of COVID. So we continue to see a difficulty for the early stage, seed stage, pre-seed companies who are seeking to raise capital at the previous valuations, pre-COVID valuations. Some of them are successful, but it is more difficult for these guys due to the fact that they have this timeline that will take them anything between 7 to 12, 10, even 12 years from raising their initial fundraise until their exit. And what we see is the investors looking for shorter term investment horizon. So we see actually more of trend that the more interesting investments for foreign investors, institutional investors, hedge funds, venture capital, and private equity is to enter the companies, the tech companies in Israel, the late stage companies, the growth stage companies, as soon as close as they can to an IPO. So what we've seen a bunch of IPOs of Israeli companies in 2020. I can talk about Fiverr, Lemonade, and JFrog was the latest one. And today we've seen an announcement that Monday is planning to do the same. In the next couple of months, and they're talking about a valuation of $5 billion. That's unprecedented. So what I see from the investor side, they're trying to approach these kind of companies before they enter an IPO, before they get ready for an IPO. So I can personally say that I was involved in a deal, including a SimilarWeb, which is another Israeli unicorn, late stage unicorn. They just announced a deal of raising $120 million the other day. And they also done a secondary deal, which I was part of. And the valuation was higher than pre-COVID. So I think that's a trend that we see. More and more companies are raising funds at higher valuations than what we're used to pre-COVID. And we've seen investors that are keen to allocate capital to these companies, even at higher valuations, because they see an exit scenario in a time horizon of, let's say, 2 years.
In terms of raising funds right now, do you think limited partners are more keen on investing right now? Are they maybe scared?
So it's really hard to say. I think I have seen some of the major local VCs raising additional capital from LPs, but I'm more these are more of the established players. I've also seen a couple of new players entering the scene in the last couple of months. So they have been successful from raising from LPs. I'm not sure what the actual numbers are compared to 2019, but I have seen some new capital coming, actually not just from the US, but from East Asia, looking for these lucrative investments in Israel. And the most recent development is the the recent peace agreements that we have signed with the United Arab Emirates. And I've seen an influx of delegations going both ways between the countries, and I think we have a huge interest by Emiratis looking to invest into the local high-tech scene for their needs. I don't think they're doing it, just because they're nice, but it's a pure business. It's a business interest, and they see the quality of companies that we have here. And it's a whole it's a whole new ball game. There is a lot of new capital available in the Gulf states. It's not just the UAE. It's Bahrain, which signed this the peace agreement with them, and I think there's a few more that will be signed. That's what they say in the next few months, hopefully. So we're going to have a new capital source from the Middle East, looking to be involved in the local tech scene.
Regarding the stock market, right now we're seeing a lot of crazy trends going on, especially with Telsa and companies like that. It seems like the stock market is getting very wild, and it doesn't seem like it's going to stop soon. What is your intake on what's happening currently in the stock market?
Right. So first I have to say this is not an investment advice of any sort. This is just my personal opinion. And I've been following the markets very closely, and what we see is, COVID has caused a lot of people to be out of work or working from home, using applications such as we're using right now, like Zoom. And people are working from home. Some people are out of work, actually, and we've seen a lot of people going into online trading applications, such as the first comes into mind is Robinhood. So they have seen their user base growing by by millions, and I've seen a lot of YouTube videos coming up from all sorts of people who are not necessarily financial planners or investment professionals, who are promoting certain stocks. So we've seen the tech sector in the stock market booming. Whereas the more traditional brick and mortar stocks represented by the S&P, actually some of them, or most of them, are down since COVID. But some of those tech stocks have soared 300, 400, 500%. And I think that represents a big change in how the world will come out of COVID. And you've mentioned Tesla. So Tesla is one example for this, and I think Tesla is a revolutionary company. I think Elon Musk is one of a kind. Maybe he's the Einstein or the Galileo of our time. Not everyone can launch space rockets into space and then land them back into and make them reusable. NASA couldn't do that. And so when he said that he's going to build an electric car that's going to have the range and top speed and acceleration technicalities that are similar to normal cars, 5 or 7 years ago, people have laughed and said that's technically impossible. Everyone has failed, but it looks like he's successful. So his cars are in the market. Yes, they are a little bit more expensive still than mainstream cars. But what we see is that he's going to deliver 500,000 cars this year, and he's doubling production every year. So if he can do that, that's 2 to the power of 5. So in 5 years, that's a 32 multiplier of 32. So he can deliver theoretically 15 million cars in 5 years, as long as he can make that production and open enough of these factories worldwide. So if he can do 15 million cars in 5 or 6 years, and that's what he said in the latest earning call, he will have 15% of the entire automotive market. And that justifies maybe the valuation that Tesla is at now. I think $400 billion. And I think if you can do that, probably we're looking at a new Apple here. People that have driven these cars have said that it's a completely different sort of experience than driving a regular car. So we don't have those Teslas here yet in Israel, but I think we will soon have them. And if production will be successful in delivering these cars, also we've seen that the cost of producing them is going down by anything between 15 to 20% per year. So they're going to be priced soon at similar prices to mainstream cars, and of course they also have the tax benefit because they're not polluting. So you have a better car at the same price, and someone that can deliver big numbers. We're looking at we're potentially looking at a new Apple here. I think there's a couple of more companies that are trying to do the same. There is another company from China called NIO who is trying to compete with Tesla. I don't know how good they are, but their stock is going up and down like crazy. It's maybe people that are trying to have some FOMO that they've missed out on Tesla, and they think if one of these companies could be built in the US, maybe the Chinese government has, they don't want to leave this territory to the Americans, and they're going to subsidize and help their own company to, the same way they did with Alibaba and these other Tencent. The Chinese government is behind these companies, helping them to compete in the global marketplace. They're going to do the same with their electric company, electric cars company.
Do you think the U.S. elections is going to affect the stock market at all? Right now, it seems like it doesn't. It seems like there's not going to be such a big effect on the stock market. But what do you think will happen, let's say, if Biden gets elected?
Right. So we're recording this a week before the elections. It looks like from the latest polls that Biden is leading. You never know, because it was, I think 4 years ago, it was the same when Trump beat Hillary Clinton. She was leading, but it's all about those swing states like Ohio and Florida, which, the one that wins these states, which are usually like closer to 50-50, is the one that's going to win. It looks like Biden is leading right now, and it looks like the stock market is already pricing that into. It's not going to be a surprise, let's say, put it this way, if Biden wins. So the current prices are already reflecting a Biden win. However, no one really knows what his policies will be when he actually gets into office. And that's going to be only in early 2021. And if then he changes the rules of the game, he announces new taxes, anything like this, that could be a surprise to the market. So him being elected is not a surprise, but he putting off new taxes or new regulations or new changing basically the rules of the game against commercial companies, against the stock market. That's not factored into the current prices, and this could be causing prices to go down, but not. I wouldn't expect that to happen, overnight. Yet there's still uncertainty in the market. We've seen the VIX, which is measuring the risk in the market, going up in the last few days, and I think we're going to see more of this uncertainty. We're not sure. No one is sure exactly where the market is heading. So I can see some investors getting out of the market just to be on the safe side, going a little bit more into cash, and wait for these new developments. So some of this uncertainty clears out of the market. I would like also to add a little bit about the Bitcoin, if I may, because that's also I would say a big development. We've seen a bunch of public companies announcing that they're going to place a few percent of their assets into Bitcoin. We've seen that coming out of Square, which is led by Jack Dorsey. It's the same founder of Twitter. He put $50 million into Bitcoin. I think that was like 10 days ago. And a few days later, we've seen PayPal announcing that they're going to welcome crypto onto their platform. That's a big news for crypto and Bitcoin as alternative assets. And I've seen one of the biggest banks from Singapore announcing that they're going to build a crypto platform into their bank. So we're going to see more of these traditional mainstream players who have been shy from crypto and Bitcoin because we weren't sure that how to do this with regulation, and they're coming now into this a little bit late. I think we might see Bitcoin and cryptocurrency rising in prices as we have in the last couple of weeks. I think we've seen like 20% up. We might see more of that as more traditional players realize that they're a little bit late to the party and they still want to be part of this new technology.
Awesome, Liron. Thanks a lot for all this amazing information. I hope it's going to help a lot of people invest better, lead better. And I want to thank you for taking the time to be on the show again, and hopefully see you soon.
Thank you, Omri. Thanks for inviting me over and looking forward. Thank you.